Solving systems of equations by substitution. So today we're going to solve each system and then we're going to go and check ourselves by graphing. Before we check ourselves and start substituting into our equations, I want to remind you guys that the whole point of systems of equations is to find a point, an ordered pair, where our lines intersect. So if you have a graph, you can draw your lines, whatever they may be, and where they intersect would be our solution. So this would be maybe -2 up 1. That would be our solution, that point. It's the same thing that when you're substituting, you're also looking for your ordered pair. Okay, so let's do an example together. If you're looking at your success checklist in your notes and you're following along, step 1 says pick a variable to solve for. So I'm going to pick this equation because if you notice, the y is already solved for. So that makes my life a little easier. I'm just going to go ahead and pick that one. And step 2 says solve for the variable. But again, y is already by itself, so that's why I picked that one. And then step 3, substitute into the other equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down my equation, and I like to put a box around my original equations first, just so that I don't get mixed up later on. And I'm going to start with my other equation, 2x minus 3y equals -7. And now I'm going to substitute in for y with this equation right here. So I have 2x minus 3, and instead of y, I'm substituting. So it says right here that y equals 6x minus 11. So I'm going to put that in instead of the y. Okay, now I'm just going to follow my math law, which is PEMDAS. Remembering that add and subtract goes together and multiply and divide go together. Okay, first thing is parentheses, so I'm going to go ahead and make my t-chart. And I'm going to distribute. So I have -2x minus 18x plus 33 equals -7. Okay, and from here, I can combine my x values. -2x minus 18 is going to give me a -20x plus 33 equals -7. I want to solve for x, so I want to move everything else. Okay, so positive 33 minus 33 is 0. On this side I have 20x equals -40. Okay, I still need to get x by itself. The 20 and the x are being multiplied, so I'm just going to do the opposite, which is divide, and I want to move the -20 over. So I'm going to divide by -20 on both sides, and I get x equals +2. Okay, now every time I come and solve a problem, I want to circle it so that I don't lose it. And I want you to remember that we said our solution is an ordered pair. So right now we have the x value. We're still missing the y value. So if you look at step 5, it says substitute for the other variable. So now I'm going to take this x that I have and put it in here to get y. So y equals 6x minus 11. I have the number for x, so I'm going to put it in there. y equals 6 times 2 minus 11. So y equals 12 minus 11. Y equals 1. And I need to put that right up here into my answer. So solve each system by substitution and check by graphing. Here's my solution. 2, 1. Now we're going to look at a graph and check to see if we're correct. Okay, so we're still on number 1. I have my graph paper here so that I can go back and check myself to make sure I solved it correctly. I'm going to go ahead and put a box again like we did last time around our original answers so that we do not get those mixed up with anything else. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draw my graph right here.
Good morning. Oh, you're making a video.
My first line is already in y equals format, so I can graph it just the way it is. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it looks like I didn't make my graph big enough, so 1 second. Let me just do that real quick. Okay, so negative 11 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So here's my y-intercept, and then my slope is 6x, so I always know if it's a whole number, I put it over 1. So I'm going to count up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over 1. And I'm going to keep going so that I have my line all the way across my graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over 1. And then let's see if one more fits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over 1. Perfect. So I have my line. Good thing is, so far it is crossing through 2, 1. Let's see if my other line crosses through there. Okay, now if you look at this line right here, we cannot graph it that way because it's not in y-intercept form. So let's solve it real quick. We're going to move the 2x to the other side by adding. Then all we have left on this side is negative 3y equals positive 2x minus 7. We still don't have y all the way by itself. We need to divide by 3 all the way across. 3 divided by 3 is just 1, so we have y equals negative 2/3 x plus 7/3. Okay, now that we have our line, we can go ahead and graph. So first I need to do my y-intercept. 7/3 is about 2.5. So I'm going to go 1, 2.5, and plot my point right there. And then it's negative 2/3 x. So I'm going to go down 2, which is 1, 2, and then over 3. Whoops. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to go down 2 and over 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if I look carefully, when I draw my line, it goes right through. Okay, excuse my crooked line, but it does go right through those points right there. And that's my solution, 2, 1. Okay, so now I have solved it algebraically on the other page, and I've used my graph to confirm that I did do it right and my solution is 2, 1.